Imperial Pass as set as he can. Statement is very straightforward for Paul at Townend. We have a flag, Richard.
Yes, the flag is raised. The 4 runners making their way towards the post here. And good news, the last hurdle will be jumped. There's enough cloud cover. They're racing for the Matheson hurdle, grade 1 over 2 mile. Field de Lurie goes on. Stateman sits second. Imperial Pass is third. And Eckes and Rain in 4. And Ruby Walsh beside me. That's pretty much exactly what you would have expected. Darryl Jacobs going to be keen to try and get Imperial Pass to sleep as early as possible.
Yeah, well, they're not hanging around. Jack Kennedy is already doing 32, 33 miles an hour here as you look at the big screen. He's clocked 15:59 for the first furlong. And he's not hanging about. This is going to be a true test, Richard.
And what do you think Jack's logic is? He's on the outside, or does he think he can outstay these, or what's Jack thinking now?
He's riding his own horse to the best of his ability. He's going to jump out and let him rock along. He thinks he's fit, and you never know. If Paul is watching Darryl is watching Paul, Jack might be thinking, can I get away? But Paul is keeping some sort of an eye on him.
And he's got a good lead. He's got a good 10-12 lengths or more to Stateman in second. Echoes and Rain is towards the outside of Imperial Pass as they go towards flights numbers 2 and 3. And out front it is Field de Lurie who has the advantage, and Claire in the early part of this contest, a 6 times winner himself, who comes out over land very flat out over that one. His hind end landed first. He needs momentum and he needs a good rhythm to keep ahead. Back in second is Stateman, never beaten in open company, a 6-time grade 1 winner, with Echoes and Rain just in behind, and towards the inside is Imperial Pass. So now they race towards the bend that's going to bring them down along the back straight towards the line of 4 flights, and it is Field de Lurie who's out clear. He's only beaten 8 lengths by Stateman and the Morgiana last time, but he's 18 pound behind him in the ratings, and second is Stateman, bidding to become only the 6th horse to win more than one Matheson. Sharjah, Hurricane Fly, Bravinka, Istabrak and Grable, the ones that have managed more than one, and it is a wide margin. It's a good 12-15 lengths now as Field de Lurie leads them down along the back straight. Stateman second. On the outside is Echoes and Rain, and towards the inside is Imperial Pass as they go towards the first of the flights down along the back straight, and Field de Lurie leads by a good margin coming towards this one. He's over from Stateman in second. Just snatching at it a little there was Echoes and Rain towards the outside, and Imperial Pass is last to the quartet. So they continue down along the back straight towards the flight right across from our position here. Field de Lurie leads Stateman. Echoes and Rain towards the outside. He's just jumping off more notably towards his right on each occasion, Field de Lurie. Stateman just keeping out towards the outside. In his slipstream is Echoes and Rain, and down the inside is Imperial Pass and Field de Lurie. You'd imagine at this calibre of race is giving away just a little too much ground, so our eyes are drawn into the 3 behind Ruby.
Yeah, and it's Field de Lurie's starting to come back. He's dropped under 30 miles an hour for the first time in the race. You saw Paul Townend having a peek behind him there to see where Darryl is and what Danny's doing, and he's pretty confident. He'll want to go Jack's inner at some point though, Paul will, and hope Darryl doesn't get there first.
Well, it is Field de Lurie, but they're starting to line up behind. Stateman sits second, last year's winner. Towards the inside is Imperial Pass. Big test for the 5-year-old here, and Echoes and Rain just in behind. Second in the Morgiana last time as they're racing out towards the bend with 2 to jump.
Yeah, and Paul wants to get in behind Jack here. Jack's going to go right. He wants to get in, let Jack jump across and make sure he's in position to jump through and he's inside.
And Echoes and Rain, Danny Mullins will be aware that Darryl Jacob is on his inside and could be in a tight pocket as well as they go towards the second last. Field de Lurie still with the advantage over in front from Stateman. Awkward there just when he didn't need to be was Imperial Pass, and Echoes and Rain towards the outside. The gap opens wide and now Stateman goes to the front. Echoes and Rain is just outside Imperial Pass. He's asked for effort now, and Stateman turned towards home, and Echoes and Rain is the one that's going in pursuit. Imperial Pass is asked to pick up on 3 on the inside. They're away from Field de Lurie. 1 flight left to jump in the Matheson, and it's Stateman. Imperial Pass is trying to close and is doing a little of that. Stateman now has a battle because Imperial Pass is coming to try and challenge. There's still a length and a half between them to the last. Stateman has it by a couple now, and from the final stages Imperial Pass is trying hard, but Stateman, who's going to back up his last year's success, he's been pushed clear, and Stateman goes away for back-to-back Mathesons and stamps himself top of the 2-mile division this side of the water. Stateman beats Imperial Pass. Back in third is Echoes and Rain, and Field de Lurie is 4. It's a 7th grade 1 for Stateman. He said, as I said, mid-race he now joins Sharjah, Hurricane Fly, Bravinka, Istabrak and Grable for winning more than one. Very taken by Stateman. I think a little bit more maturity will come from Imperial Pass as well.
Yeah, he'll come forward again, but Stateman, look, Paul was confident about his superiority. He got into a good position away from the second last, and when he got over in front of Darryl Jacob and onto the rail, there was always a chance Darryl was going to be in the pocket off the bend then, and Danny Mullins wasn't given an inch. Now Imperial Pass got out with loads of time, Richard, but he just wasn't good enough to get to him, and a really quick jump at the last, even though he wasn't long, from Stateman sealed the deal.
He's just such an uncomplicated horse, State Man. There's no way to ride him. It doesn't matter when you hit the front. It doesn't matter where you travel through a race. It must be a joy to ride for Paul.
Yeah, it is, but good horses generally are straightforward. There's nothing overly complicated about them, and this fella's very relaxed. He's a good way of doing things. He was really good in the Morgiana. But that's the beauty of having a Morgiana and a Hatton's Grace. We had a clash here, Richard, and we didn't know what was going to happen. But as they round off the bend, Darrell is looking for out. Paul's not going to give him the inside. So much for team tactics. Danny Mullins is trying his best to keep him in and pushes him in, but he hasn't the horse to stay there. Now Darrell is out. That's loads of time in Leopardstown. He's out with plenty of time to get him, but he just hasn't got the horsepower to go by.
But Imperial Pass did make a mistake at the second last and had to do his catch up that hill you described that Corbett's Cross had to do it earlier. I'm not trying to make too many allowances for him, and the best horse won in the day, but for a 5-year-old taking on a horse of State Man's calibre, he's taken another big step forward here.
He has, but look at the last 20 strides. State Man's going away, Imperial Pass is going backwards. Katie Walsh, you're with Paul Townend, who I'm sure is a happy man.
Sure am. Paul, that was a really good performance. I mean, there was only a handful of runners, but Jack went a really good gallop in front. And were you ever a little bit facing away from here thinking this is going to be a real test?
It was going to be a real test, but I was kind of able to judge it off Jack a little bit. I knew I had faith in this horse that when I was going that gallop, we were going a proper gallop, and I couldn't believe the gears he found up the straight today.
Yeah, he was unbelievable, and I got technical there as well, because I'm sure you were conscious Jack was jumping off to his right. You were going to get that run. It was just a decision as when you were going to go for it, but Darrell was breathing down your backside, and I'm sure you were plenty aware of that.
I think Darrell actually set this lad a little bit of light after the last ditching across, because I was waiting to try and jump through when Jack went right, and this lad just jumped on at the wrong time, and he put me a half a length closer than I wanted to be, but he was brave, this lad. Didn't mind Jack going right in front of him and jumped into the gap. So, you know, he's professional, and that's what he is. He's a good, very good horse.
He sure is. We've got a couple of very exciting horses here over the last couple of days, and that was a real taking performance, because, as you said, the gears he showed at the back of the last to pick up and go again. I mean, it was just a good, really good, solid performance all around, Paul.
And he tries. You know, I never had to give him a slap even. So he tries really hard. Often these hurdles here we can go steady and build into it. Whereas today it was a proper galloping road go.
Well done, Paul.
Well done to Paul and to Team State Man. I think, guys, this horse doesn't get the credit he deserves, probably because of Constitution Hill, but 7 grade 1s, and he's only turning 7 years of age.
Yeah, he's a standing dish in these 2 mile grade 1s this side of the Irish Sea anyway, Jane, and you can't take anything away from him. He's so consistent. He's a high class hurler in this division. He's the reigning champ, and he retains the title again, Barry, but he was good. He just hands and heels Paul Townend and pushed him out to the line. He didn't even have to revert to a stick.
No, exactly, and he looked more professional in Punchestown in the Morgiana. He was quick and he was slick, and today he had to deal with Phil Duderee on front. Paul waited for him to go right, jump into the gap, but then he was in no rush to go about it. He was happy just to sit there, stack them up, wait. He had confidence in his horse. He said how he's much more professional, and when he quickens, and he quickens again. Darrell gets out in lots of time, but you can see Imperial Pass is not the most physical horse, and he is going to improve as a 5-year-old. But he ran a good race, but he just isn't at that level yet. But he has a chance to get there in time.
Yeah, look, it's the age-old saying it's a difficult year when they turn to 5. But Imperial Pass is a very good horse. What they'll do in the future remains to be seen. But on that evidence, they may as well have a crack at the champion herd. Would you go that route, or what?
Well, if you want to keep him fresh for Aintree or something like that, like you can imagine, so State Man goes champion hurdle, maybe back to Punchestown. Do you avoid both those clashes at his age? Maybe just skip Cheltenham and go to Aintree. It's not as if you've just got one superstar to face in State Man. You have Constitution Hill as well, so you know, never be afraid of taking on one horse. But maybe ducking 2 mightn't be a bad option if you want to keep him fresh and go to Aintree.
And isn't it such a positive for us and the Irish fans who are here, Lisa? We didn't think these 2 would meet until March. Willie Mullins, their owners, in here, take each other on, and we found out before the spring who's the real reign supreme.
Absolutely, Jane. Look, and we even seen it yesterday with the Savills Chase, Gallop in the Champs, like such high class performers we've had here all week. and it's fantastic to be able to see these horses. And obviously Stateman, I think I totally agree with you. I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves. Take Constitution Hill out of it, he'd be a champion hurler winner if we hadn't got Constitution Hill, but we have. And I think this guy's capable of winning plenty more Grade 1s in the future. He's capable of stretching his rivals beyond their capabilities. The way he lowers his head from the back of the lat to the winning post, I think he's ultra impressive.
There's fewer likeable horses in training, Ruby, than this fella, because he just seems to do the job and then switch off.
It's just like his jockey, isn't he? No fanfare, no... Just lets it all do the talking on the track, and he's a really, really good horse. I was listening to you coming back down. I'd say there's no bigger certainty. The two of them will run the champion hurdle. Willie Mullins, they're all for Cheltenham. They'll go there. And yeah, look, he's Imperial Pass, as you're saying, will improve. He should improve. There's Mary Donnelly leading him in with Rachel Robbins, and he's a really professional horse. Now, Paul does think, for whatever reason, no one can explain it, that he didn't turn up in Cheltenham last year. He feels like it, not that he thinks he would have beaten Constitution Hill, but he doesn't think at any stage. He always felt he was doing well to beat the others, and he doesn't think that was right.
Yeah, he beat Zanahiyr 4 lengths. I suppose that's what I was trying to build my case for Imperial Pass, because that doesn't scream real quality, and that to me would make him beatable. He looked better in the Morgiana, but still he didn't have to beat an awful lot there. He was really impressive again today.